Welcome to Two Queens and Crystal Things, the podcast where we are on some manifest your life, shift your mind,
Well, come on.
and raise the consciousness.
Because I mean, what are we here for?
Type of shit, right?
Consciousness.
Consciousness. Don't get me started. Look, we've been drinking this wine for a minute because we've been chatting it up, catching up. I apologize, but I'm Christy.
And I am Mia, and you can consider us your spiritual girlfriends. Hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all.
So, let's see. Last week, real quick,
Yep.
we talked about divine masculine energy. And, the females have been getting a lot of attention. So, or the female divine feminine energy has been getting a lot of attention. So, one thing we to take away from that is, regardless of your gender, divine masculine energy is present in every single person on earth. So ultimately, when our divine feminine and our divine masculine energies are in harmony, our life is balanced internally and externally. So because everything is, intertwined, the divine masculine works with the divine feminine for creation. So we just talked about that, and we used it's kind of fun because we used one of the Carl Jung's male archetypes and did a quiz.
You all let us know. Like we've had a couple of people say, "Hey, I want to let you know I'm half, like I'm straight, flat down the middle, whatever it is, like wizard and warrior or something."
There were four of them were warrior, lover,
wizard and king.
Yes, or something. Magician and king. There you go. Yes. So that part.
I know we're both looking at each other like.
What? So if you guys haven't checked it out, it's kind of fun. I actually really enjoyed doing the episode because it made me really start thinking about. I'm probably at a point in my life where I need to make sure I'm really balancing my masculine and feminine, and I need to probably pull up that masculine a little bit more because I went hard in the feminine, which is okay. Trying to balance.
No, I understand. I think I'm at a point too where I'm learning to find a balance.
Absolutely. So what we talking about today?
Okay.
Hey.
You all ready for the tea? All right, I'm gonna need for you all to come a little bit closer and listen. Okay. So, me and I've been talking. We really, and my partner said this, that we really need to record our pre-conversations. And I really think that we should because, man, the stuff that we talk about. But something that we did talk about, and we shared it here on the podcast, is that we just wanted to go a little bit deeper and talk more about magic.
Yeah.
And about how we use it in our everyday lives. And honestly, like there are so many topics around magic, but today we want to talk about altars, and we want to discuss that. And it's altars, So what is it, and what do I put on it? I know it's like pew, and I feel like I can exhale a little bit. But how to use it in your life? So that's what we're gonna talk about today.
Okay, so before y'all stop listening, hear us out. Believe it or not, you have come across an altar at some point in your life. And I know a lot of you guys probably do have altars or are considering altars. But, if you have been in a church, remember the altar call? Hello? At church, if you've been in church, communion, at when you walk into, I see it oftentimes in some of our Asian friend businesses.
Yes, so that's one of the things that I said because I want to be sensitive. So I said it depends on what. But even restaurants.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Because you'll see altars.
Yes, absolutely.
Sometimes you'll see what's the elephant god? Ganesh. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you'll see those in restaurants, and then you'll see like a plate around and flowers.
Yeah, it's your nail shop.
Yes,
lady. I mean, seriously, we're just
we're
just trying to show you. That used everywhere.
We're just not. I don't necessarily think. Like I feel like the word hits harder than us actually seeing it because when we see it, it's almost like our eyes bypass it.
Yes.
But when you say it, it's like, oh my gosh, altar.
Yes.
I don't have an altar. I don't want an altar. Because I feel like and I feel like in the beginning, I was so. I mean, I still am leery, but I've definitely allowed myself to go with the flow a little bit more. So hope stick with us.
So let's okay. So Christy, I already know where you're gonna go with this.
You all know. Okay, there's the Virgo side of me, or the child of Obatala side of me. I love definitions because that way everyone is on the same page. It's clear.
Yes.
And there is no,
Absolutely.
like, it's like there should be no questions. Okay, so according to dictionary.com, an altar, again, is with an A. It's a table or a flat top block that's used as the focus for a religious ritual, for making sacrifices or offerings to a deity. The first altar is thought to be erected is in the Bible. Noah, I think, built an altar. The altar is mentioned several times in the Bible. That's
It is
number one.
That's the first altar mentioned in the Bible.
Yeah.
Is that just okay? I didn't know that.
And then I ran across this statement that I wanted to share because it made it very clear for me. I can be very analytical. Mia can attest. But altars are vehicles that allow you to commune more deeply to the divine. And to me, that's just like, okay, so this is a tool. We talked about spiritual tools.
So I heard someone describe it as God's table.
That's true.
And I think that's a great place to start because I mean, you can have different type of altars. We have
really
friends who have
can.
living altars.
Yeah.
We have an altar for your ancestors, and so there's a lot of different things. But when you think of it as just a place for consecrated gifts or honoring,
I love the honoring piece.
yes, it's because, and again, when we think about the fact that we are all one and come from the same place, and you're able to tap into the wisdom of your divine self, your ancestors. And you know, you guys, we always talk about how when you call on your spiritual team, which also includes your ancestors, they come.
They
So
come, baby.
offering up a thank you for your work, thank you for your time is another way to think of an altar. So
So can I say something with that? Because for the longest time I didn't understand, but something that I'm learning, or a space that I'm learning to be in, is before I jump to conclusions, learn a little bit more about it. And so I realized, I mean, we talked about this in one of our podcasts. Everything is energy. And so, and in some traditions, energy can be a life of a chicken, it could be, or a
Yes.
rooster, it could be a life of a lamb or a goat. You know, that particular animal basically dedicated its life for your service. And that's amazing. Like, when you take a look at it, it's just like, okay, because there's a circle of life there. But anyway, so I mean, once it was shared that way, I was like, okay, now I think I have a little bit more of a reverence for it, and not just like, I'm still learning, but I feel like I'm more open about it than I was before. And, you know, for some of you all who eat meat, I feel like it's kind of the same in a sense. Like, that animal gave their life for you
that's a
to,
sacrifice.
right, for you. So, I don't know, but I'm sorry I got off.
No. So, let's see.
Because I've been drinking.
I've been drinking. Okay. Let's just talk about, is it, I'm scared to say need, but is it necessary? Does something that, you know, why would you want an altar, need an altar? You know what I mean? Like, why would someone bring this into their life? So let's talk about, everyone doesn't necessarily need an altar, but I would encourage you to open yourself to consider having one as a way to kind of refresh and deepen your practice.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't necessarily, I mean, if you feel like, yeah, I don't think that's really my thing, and you really feel that shit, I mean, then don't.
Yeah.
Then don't feel obligated to have an altar. Then this episode is not for you. For someone who feels like they should have a space or create a sacred space where they feel like they want to honor people and they want to put their energy there, whether it's towards finances or intentions, then this is your episode. But I think, like, my first time even being around an altar, but then as I saw one, I'm like, they're all around us. We're just not
being aware.
Right. It's just like we're just not
them.
paying attention. But when I had my angelic Reiki training, they had an altar. They're like, okay, so what are your intentions for this training? Okay, use this crystal, put your intentions, and then set it down there on the altar.
Nope. I'm taking you back. Journey. When we journeyed.
Oh, was that before the angelic?
Yes, that was before the angelic Reiki, wasn't it? Yeah. That was. I think that was my first true awareness. That was about 3-4 years ago.
That was your first journey, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was my first journey too. So that was, as we were preparing for it, it said bring something for the altar. So that was my first time. Like, wait, what does this mean? What do you know?
Oh, see, I didn't get that memo.
You did get it. You brought something for it. You just don't remember.
Oh, maybe it's my Lemurian. Was that my Lemurian?
It's the Pinot Noir.
You were like, you need to point that shit. I was
yes,
like,
you were like, yes. That part.
Woo, we had a night.
Okay, Lord. Boy.
Ooh, what's that real? Ooh, we had a time last night.
Ooh, we had a time last night.
Yes, well, we don't need to do that anytime soon. But no, everyone does not need an altar.
So everyone doesn't necessarily need one, but I do think. If I can say, I do find personally that there is benefits of having an altar, and I've said this before. When I started learning more about what an altar is and building one, I realized that basically my whole house is an altar.
Yes, and you say that all the time.
Because it's true.
And honestly, when you come into me in space, you can feel it. It's just like, like the whole time I've been here, I feel like I've been smiling. Like, oh, Mia, oh my gosh, I love it. But no, you are right. And honestly, okay, so do you have an altar?
Yes. Well, I haven't put it together in my, but I consider all of it an altar, but I do have one that I'm putting in my bedroom.
Okay. So I had an altar upstairs, and then when I moved, my guys were saying everything that you have, you don't need to bring with you. So I was just like, does this mean you're my altar? I thought it was. So I didn't bring it down, but then they were telling me that I need to create a new one, which was another thing that came up with my reading. So right now I don't have one, but I do my best to remember my ancestors and my guides all the time.
I mean,
I try.
Honestly, not trying to necessarily sell it, but I can tell you, based on what I've experienced, it does allow you to have a connection with the divine in a different way. I feel like to me, an altar is like a way to have a tangible connection with spirit.
I agree.
And it's, and honestly, and again, I'm only 3-4 years into that. So, you know what I mean? Even really understanding it, starting to understand it, it's, I enjoy it more than I thought that I ever would. I really enjoy the honoring of any life that I'm allowing to touch my life.
Right. And
so
I love that.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm allowing in this, whatever energy, whether it's an ancestor, angels.
It's like, I want to honor you.
I want to honor because you are helping and serving in my life.
In this special place, the sacred space, you are a part of this space.
So I that's what I think is one of the benefits of it, Yeah. And it's like a spiritual center. It's like,
It is.
It's especially for us who grew up Christian. It's almost like having a space.
Like your closet.
Like your church. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Because honestly, when I walk into my office, the energy feels so much different from the rest of my house. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because everyone seems to have this, and it's funny that this is coming out now, but it seems like everyone has this reverence to coming into my space, or they just won't. Like Brantley, before he comes in, he'll kind of like tap the door open, and then he'll wait for me to invite him in, and then he'll come in.
What?
Yes. And then Jason.
Are you serious?
Jason will come
really
in.
Don't tap him to get in. Oh, that's fascinating.
And then he'll wait, and I was like, come in. And he's just like, okay.
I'm fascinated with the fact that he waits for you to say come in. What?
In that room, he does.
In that room. That's fascinating. Because, Brantley come up in your room, jump in your bed, and be like, hey, scoot over. What we doing?
Yeah, no. And even Charlie, they just wanted to, I don't know. It's just, and it changes the energy of the space. It really does. And just to come someplace where I know that I can feel safe and I can just be, it becomes special.
If you were to say what the purpose of an altar is.
I mean, just like you said, I feel that. You said that it's a space that allows us to honor people, deities, energies. I mean, and we'll get into this, like what are some of the things that can go on your altar, where it should go. But I mean, yeah, that's what I feel.
I think it's like it's honoring, opening channels, opening communication.
Yeah, and I also have intentions too.
Oh,
I mean,
wait a minute.
Types of
No,
altars.
Christy, I'm so glad you said that because I think it's important. Look, y'all gonna hear me say this until the wheels fall off. Intention is everything.
Everything.
So
Could be
even
good or
when
bad.
in your magic and when your spell work, whenever you're creating something, I don't care how beautiful or what it may look. The intention behind it is what rules it.
Always
so when
the
you're
intention.
creating an altar, create it with intention. So I want to honor my ancestors. I want to honor the magic in me. I want to honor who I am in this world and what I bring. I mean, like, there's so many different things. I want to honor my God. I want to honor whatever deity, God, or goddess. There's so many. Create the intention. Like, I want to use this. You can literally create an altar. Say, I'll use, give me a deity. Kuan Yin. I'll just say Kuan Yin. I would like to use this altar as a method of communication and reverence between myself and Kuan Yin. And the beautiful thing about actually building it is because it makes you dive deeper into whatever that intention is and who it is and what it is that you're honoring. So if I'm doing one for Kuan Yin, that makes me dive deeper into the energy of that goddess.
Yeah.
And so now I have to look up something to understand, like, oh, she likes, Kuan Yin better than I do. But you know what I mean? Like, I'm just trying to use an example.
I think it's a great example, and it makes so much sense.
So now, and it helps deepen
your connection. So can I say something real quick, though?
Mm-hmm.
I want people to know we are not worshiping these people.
Girl, no.
There's a difference between There's a difference
Thank you.
between honoring and there's a difference between worshiping. And it's just like you don't think it's crazy that you have your family pictures around, but because I have a table with my family on there and maybe some candles, now I'm like there's an issue with it.
I think people are more open to, because here's the thing. I'm willing to bet if someone looks around their house right now, they may have a table with a picture of all their ancestors, all their family members on there, and
that's
they put
an
like
altar.
Baby, that's an altar.
That's an altar.
You're honoring your lineage,
right?
Mean,
like it's in front of your face, folks.
So I think that is it's important to just open. And the beautiful thing about building your own altar is that you create the rules. There are no.
Yes.
It has to be one thing or another.
Yep.
So I would say it helps to build your spiritual practice. I mean, I'm sorry. Time out. Tangent. It's this gnat. One gnat.
There's always one that likes to get all up in your face, like it can't see you.
Like, why is it
can't see your big human body.
What is going on?
But it has to get close up on your eyes or inside your ear.
So if y'all hear a little bit of a smack, because I'm trying to let life just be, but I need you to stay over there or go out where you came from.
Right. You have all this space
to go someplace.
Go find some business.
So again, the altar makes it your spiritual practice tangible, and sometimes for humans need something tangible. It helps make it real. That's why oftentimes when we are learning about the idea of God or gods, many of us struggle because, like, you're trying to tell me I can't see it, talk to it, but I'm supposed to believe it's that. Do you know what I mean? So when you develop an altar, it helps to provide a connection in a different way than we need that a lot of people need in the 3D world.
And for some people, we need to be able to see it. Like you said, it has to be tangible. And so an altar makes things tangible. But again, we're not worshiping things. We're not, idolizing things. It's an honoring. And then one thing, too, is we'll get into, like, things that we can add to just enhance the energy. Okay, so let's talk about, if I want an altar. Okay, you have my ear. I'm intrigued.
Where do I put it?
Where do I put it?
What you think, Christy?
Well, put it someplace where you go to on a regular basis. Put it someplace where you feel it will be safe.
Interact. Okay, so I have two. This one is hard for me because no, the only reason I shouldn't say hard, but I think both. I think I my mind is split on this. I definitely think it should be someplace that you consider sacred. This man is driving me crazy. That you consider sacred. Yes. So if there's some place that you go to meditate, to pray, to connect with yourself, having an altar there might be a good idea. But I also think for some altars, and depending on which practice, I'm just gonna say what practice it is that you are engaged with in your journey. You know what I mean, in your journey to know yourself. Some of these different practices, they want you to put their altar out in front. They want people to see it. Like, don't hide me. You know what I mean? So there's I think it completely depends on you, who and what it is that you're honoring. They'll, like, that's why I said the process of building and creating an altar in and of itself is a deeper connection in your spiritual practice, period.
So can I say something? So when it was one of our journeys, one of our friends, we went to her house. She had an altar, but it didn't, I'm using air quotes, it didn't look like an altar. But when I looked at it, I was like, oh, that's her ancestral altar. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't, like, all altars don't have to look. No. Because you say it yourself, your house is an altar. It's an honor, like you said, like we are honoring spirits and energies. It's actually really cool. But so where do you suggest it? You said in a place that's
mine, the one that I'm, we both just moved, so I am almost done with this, y'all. With this house,
it looks so good.
I'm ready to. So good. I'm actually getting excited. That's why I was excited that we were going to do this episode, because I'm like, ooh, I finally get in and get it together. So for me, I'm going to have it upstairs in my bedroom, and I think that that bookcase is a whole altar. That's just an altar, like, for real. Mm-hmm. So
but you make it. So here's the thing. But you make it look like art. Yep. You make it look like no one's looking at it like, oh.
But if you really pay attention to it, so for me, it's magic, right? So if you pay attention to it, I have something representative of every element. So I have
I see wings.
So I have air, fire. Hold on. I can't see it because it's behind me. But when I was putting it together, I have crystals on there. I have, for earth, I have, what else is over there? But y'all get the point. Yeah. So, but there are so many different things you can use to represent different elements. So, and I use it to represent all 5 elements. I love that. Earth, air, water. What's the other one? Wind.
Fire.
No, fire. Bam. Okay. And ether, spirit.
Okay.
So
it looks so cute.
So if someone for someone if someone walks in, they don't know, but like, you standing in front of my altar.
Yeah,
like, and that's, you're right. And so when I am channeling for myself and downloading wisdom of my soul into this 3D world, I these are the things that come to me. Like, you know how to do this. And I'm like, oh, I do. Well, let me go see. And then what happens is, you guys, I'm telling you, like real talk, like for real, I will have things and I don't know why I have it. And then I will come into an awareness of something. I'm like, oh, I know how to do this, man. I wonder, wait, I bought this 3 years ago. That's what this is for? So I really do think it's the process of building an altar. You open yourself into, talk to me. Let's have a conversation with spirit, with your team. It's just like, what I'm telling you, this happens all the time. I buy books. I will buy a book. I'm like, okay, I don't know anything what this is about, but whatever. Mm-hmm. And then it'll come, I'm like, oh, this is a fascinating topic. Hold on. I got a book about this. But I think there's something about building an altar that opens you up to the conversation on a deeper level.
I have to admit that having an altar, it does enhance the energy.
Yes.
And
the fact that the damn dog was standing at the door and wait for you to come in because the altar is in there, Chrissy, that's amazing. And you know how Bradley is.
Yeah, he will usually just bust it in, but lately he like especially if the door is closed, the
fact that he knocks on the door, okay, that is the cutest.
He scratches
thing ever.
You guys, I love this dog so damn much. Like, it is ridiculous.
He's so cute.
I love him so much. Okay. All right, so what should I put on my altar?
Ooh, Christy, what do you think?
Honestly, like we always say, it all depends on you. Mm-hmm. So for me, like because I am really, really working on my ancestral connection, I'm starting to put pictures there of my ancestors. Mm-hmm. I had, this is my previous altar. I had railroad spikes to represent Ogun, because he's one of my protectors. Mm-hmm. I would put water there, or sometimes liquor.
A little liquor, make it quicker.
A little liquor. If I wanted to like charge something or like enhance the energy of something, I would put it on my altar, and then I would take it later. I have crystals on it. I have intentions on it. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like that's like my space where I commune. Did you say
interesting? Yeah, absolutely. Okay. It's okay. So I'm like, this is so funny. So recently, my ancestors, well, there's a particular ancestor that I've been connecting with, which is fascinating to me. She likes coffee. So, she's like, I need some coffee. They missed the taste of coffee, because a lot of people, I shouldn't say a lot of people. It took me a while to be open to understanding what it meant to feed spirit. Because I'm like, they can't eat, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, you put it out there, they can't eat it. You know, this is what I'm thinking.
It's energy.
It's that, Christy. That's what it is. So if I'm asking for help on my behalf on the other side, and I'm like, what's going on? It's like, you haven't fed us. We need energy. We need, you know what I mean? So the intention is like, oh my goodness, you're right. Let me nourish with the intent of loving and thanking and being grateful for the work that you're doing for me. So I put, I ask them what they're, hell, I even ask my pendulums. I feed my pendulums.
Oh yeah, you do.
So everything is.
Sorry to my pendulums.
Wait, somebody. I'm sure that somebody's like, oh, these bitches crazy. No, but seriously, everything.
Sorry,
I'm like, hey, this is what we just look. Look, I'm like, but
they're thirsty. My pendulums.
Yes, one of my pendulums likes weed smoke.
Ooh.
One of my amethyst ones, like it, like that's I'm like, okay, and I'm okay with that. So, I mean, I would straight ask, are you hungry?
Let me find one of them pendulums. You need some weed smoke?
Yes!
I got you.
Wait, oh my goodness. I haven't used that pendulum. My rose quartz, she likes champagne.
That is so funny.
So, I would literally put her in the champagne, sit there, and I'm like, and I'd ask her, are you good? You need some more? And she'd tell me yes or no. I'm dead serious, yeah. Like, like when we talk about energy is everything, energy is everything.
Look, I'm gonna come back like I need more wine.
Yes, no, for real.
I need more wine. I need more. I need some of that weed smoke.
And a lot of the whiskey.
Yes.
Some like water. Like it's so even getting to the point where you're able to communicate and say what it is that you need, that deepens your spiritual practice. That deepens really your connection.
Even your intuition.
Yes.
Too. There have been times where like my answer's been like, you know what, I need some drink, like anything brown.
And then you know what ends up happening? Because something will happen where, you know, answer like, oh, by the way, I left you a ring. You need to go get that. You're like, what? What? You need to wear that because this is, and or you know those dishes I left you. This is why I left it. I mean, when I tell you, you guys, the process, just like in life, it's not the end result. Right. It's the journey.
And a lot of times
it's where the beauty is. And that the journey is the process of creating one is, to me, and this is just my little opinion.
And a lot of times you're not going to know, but you need to trust.
Trust yourself. And that's the other thing. If you put an altar and you're like, okay, I don't want anybody to see it, and that's totally fine. Because some people are just like, I would stop by our girlfriend Maja's today. And so I was looking at her ancestral altar, and she has pictures of a lot of her. It's gorgeous, and I understand the sacredness of it. So before I touch it, I said, "Can I touch it?"
Yeah,
like people just, you know what I mean.
I think that's respectful, though. You don't want to just touch.
Because I understand this means something. This is set here in this way next to this for a reason. You know what I mean? And so there's a reverence even when dealing with somebody else's altar. Absolutely. When you go to the church, you don't just walk up to the altar.
No, you don't.
And
like communion.
Yes,
it's not one of those things where it's like
consecrated sacredness.
Snatch the juice and the crackers out. You don't. So what are some other things that you can add on your altar? Candles, flowers, incense is a big thing for me.
I have gold. I've used gold. It depends on. I'm telling you.
Also depends on the altar too.
Huh?
I said I feel like it depends on the altar.
It totally depends on the altar and who it is and what it is that you're honoring on that altar. These are my thoughts on it. I think that you can have an altar and kind of speak to different things, but I do think there should be a difference between a living altar and your ancestral altar.
Okay, can you explain the two?
So the ancestral altar is when you're honoring your loved ones who have passed, even the ones you may not have met or known, and you're honoring that lineage. So that is a different, again, just my experience and what I've come to learn in my process.
Works for you.
To me, I feel like it feels natural to me to have a separate one for the ancestors and another one for my magic.
Right, I agree.
Because when I say living, I mean like this is what I'm doing right now. Like I'm working with you. But if I'm honoring my ancestors, you know how you have like your grandma and and her stuff.
I feel you on that one.
That's just So I think there should be different ones.
So instead of having an active,
yes,
instead of having an active altar, I created a crystal grid.
Right. Yes.
Like for a specific intention or for a specific energy. But honestly, it can be whatever it is that you want.
That's an excellent point. Say you create a crystal grid. Where do you place it in your home?
It will be by my altar.
That's what I'm saying.
Or it depends. It may be in my room
creating
or a space.
That.
Yeah.
The crystal grid and putting it in a space. That's an altar. So back to like if we're going with the definition, as long as it's a raised space. If you go on Google right now and Google, altar box or something like that, there's it's something about the raised something. It could be 6 inches off the floor. It could be 6 feet off the floor. Yeah. It totally depends on.
I got my altar online.
Right. So people will share altar. Go look at your church. Look at that altar table.
All the time.
There's coverings on there. There's candles on there. What do candles represent? That's lighting the way. And again, depends on you. It's lighting the way. It is, when you think about when someone says, I'll burn a candle for you. That is like, I'm showing reverence for you. I'm lighting the way for you. If I'm lighting a candle, because we light candle for magic all the time. It's like thank you, Christy. A prayer,
but it's almost like if you don't want to sit there for 30 minutes praying, you just light a candle and say, "This is my intention,"
and let that,
and I'm gonna let this burn out.
And that light will take care of it, because you set the intention while you're lighting that with whatever it is underneath that candle that you're building or working on, and then you allow that to burn down. I mean, y'all, when I talk about like even candles in my house, girl. I treat candles in my even the smell good one's different.
Think about it too. And that is so wild, because that literally just came like out of nowhere. But if you think about a candle being a prayer, the way that you light it and the way that you extinguish it is going to be completely different. Ooh, because it's a prayer. It's like, what? I'm fine. Thank you so much. I'm ending this prayer with a lot of gratitude instead of like, okay, bye.
Right.
You have a different.
Think about when you get off the phone with somebody you love.
Yeah.
You don't just, like, oh, you're declaring your love. And no, you don't even say bye. You just hang up. That's what it is when you blow out a candle.
Yeah.
You snuff it. You
know
what I mean? Like
using your life force.
Yes.
To cancel out a prayer.
What did you just put on there? Let that thing burn down. So that's why in a lot of practices, people use 7-day candles. It will literally burn for 7 days or 3 days or 5 days, because
the energy.
It's the energy. Thank you, Christy.
I'm sorry.
You can use flowers.
Yes.
Incense.
Herbs. I mean,
bells.
Honestly, it can be anything. Those crystal. Why did I break another crown?
Girl,
Ball.
I don't know. What baby? I told Chrissy. She texted me. She said, I "Guess who broke another crown?" But I said, "Baby, the head is heavy." I said, "What you can say?" I said, "You got something heavy on your mind."
No, you were like, "You must got a lot of stuff on your mind or something." I was like, "Thanks."
Is this the second or third one? I think this is the third one, Chrissy.
I think it's the third.
Christy, come on, man. Why is it always the crown?
I don't know.